And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Both of these teams about to reach the halfway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This is taken about 7 yards deep, and no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Throwing on first down is Rodgers. Throw left side complete. That's Hodges. Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's second down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Green 18. Hey, check Mike. Back room. Oh, here we go. Oh, 55 Mike, 55.
Shotgun now for Rodgers. And that will be incomplete. So the defense able to get off the field here on 3rd down.
And it's one of the goals of the game. They've got to be effective on passing downs. It's one of the few things defenses chart. How did we do on 3rd down? That's a nice start for them in this one.
And here now the punter, Martin, booming this one away. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10.
Here we go. 60 or. Slam. Watch that.
Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
On 2nd down, Cook. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the 1st down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, there'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the 1st. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
And they didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
They'll look to throw here. Trying to fit it into Moore, but it's intercepted. Picked off near the 42. And he'll take it across midfield and down to the 48-yard line. Well, not a good omen there. His first throw of the afternoon intercepted.
And I know what the fans are thinking right now. I hope there's not negative thoughts in his head going forward since that's his first throw of the game. But one of the things I remember about him coming out of school is he's able to wipe things away pretty easily and move on.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
All right, that one fell incomplete there, but the best quarterbacks, they'll miss on 40% of their throws, somewhere in that neighborhood, similar to a great hitter in baseball who's going to fail 7 out of 10 times and still have a great year.
And he's going to be swallowed up. Sacked back at the 45-yard line.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback, 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
On 3rd and long, it's Rodgers. And that is incomplete. The former Pro Bowl linebacker Anthony Barr there to jar it free. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part. It got them the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football and now zapped right back in the other direction. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line.
Absolutely love the flexibility of these punters. Their leg drive, able to get it way up in the air, and that allows the punt team to get down there and down it inside the 10 because they've had some time.
They start the drive with Cook, and he will take this up to about the 8-yard line. Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. We'll check on his status when we get back. Line of scrimmage is the 8 on 2nd and 8. First carry now for McFadden. And just not much to be had there. 1 yard out to the 10.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
It looks like the Packers have added an extra DB on 3rd down.
Hey, Zoo.
They'll drop to throw. And he's able to find Diggs. And able to get it across the 20 before they get to it. It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. First down, a run with McFadden. And he'll be corralled right around the 34. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
Hey, Echo. Mike 42, Mike 42. You go night-night. Go night-night. Let's go Mike 42.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. And this is caught by Watkins. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
A 7-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 3 at the 41-yard line.
And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. On 2nd down, McFadden. And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. We're scoreless after 1.
10 logo. Hey, Sam off. Undercrunch. Keep dribbling.
Running again on first with McFadden. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A big chunk on the ground there, 27 yards.
Sometimes those lines that are drawn on a grease board or in a playbook, they come to life out on the field, don't they? And we just saw down that outside handoff to the right.
That right tackle, he gets excited for that call, doesn't he?
He does, because he just wants to dominate his guy and say, listen, I was the point of attack. I took care of business.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
And this Green Bay defense making that play look a lot like the previous one. Both tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Play number 9 set to come here on the drive on 3rd and 2. They'll set up to throw. Try to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Jair Alexander. He's at the 50, the 30, past the 20. And they will score. It's a Packer touchdown. 3rd down pass passing down. They throw the extra defensive back in there for a nickel package, and it worked out.
And it's not anything that you would think is just great strategy. It's just that when you have 5 defensive backs on the field on an obvious passing down, it's a lot tougher to complete a pass. And on that play, they completed it just to the wrong team, and it cost them 6 points.
Extra point splits the uprights, and it's now a 7-0 game. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor, though. But thank you, Dr. Davis. Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete. 2nd and 10 now from the 27.
Rip left.
McFadden. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on first down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on second.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in an expected passing situation.
The Packers bringing in an extra member of the secondary here to try for the 3rd down stop.
Here I come again. Mike 42. Mike 42. Check. Mike 42.
He'll look to throw. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off at the 36. And they will score. It's a Packer touchdown. So a dangerous pass over the middle into zone coverage, and it bit him hard.
And what's really difficult when you throw it in that direction and versus that zone, that means the linebackers have gotten to their spot, gotten their heads back around, and they can see the quarterback and everything in front of them. And they took big advantage of it, went the other direction. Excellent blocking, and picked up a touchdown.
Point after, right down the middle. And that'll make the score 14-0. So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fast.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked by Kendall Fuller. And into the end zone. It's a pick 6 and a Packer touchdown. And a great return as they're finally able to take him down.
Partner, what we just saw, that's a great example of a team that was really amped up. They've been playing so well, yet they didn't get overexcited and have a bust on defense and gave up a big play. Instead, they created their own big play with a pick 6. This one may be over.
Yeah, it's just the first half, but that lead has swelled to the point where you're wondering if it is over already. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down. No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. Coming up at halftime, we remind you once again that we're going to check in with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL as we reach now, hard to believe, the halfway point of the season. Time flying.
It certainly is. Time to get the sweaters out, my man.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 12 yards there. First down, Vikings. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Here's McFadden. And he's got this down to the 35. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. Now this one to his tight end out on the right side. 23 yards, the final tally.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down.
Brings up 2nd and 1 at the Packers' 3-yard line.
They come out here in the eye.
Check, Mike 42.
Here's the fullback. This is Roosevelt Nix, and he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. Only gets a yard, but it's enough to set him up 1st and goal.
Let's face it, you always want a team full of guys who can get you first downs and big plays of all styles, but you've got to have a big man you can just turn and hand it to, and he can be dependable in picking up first downs.
And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Darnell Savage. And he will be brought down as time is now run out on this first half of action. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, so it's the Packers set to receive the kick. They've got the lead as well as we are underway in the third quarter. They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And that first half, one to forget really on both sides of the ball. They got to find some way to string something together here, don't they?
Yeah, they're down big right now. So as you mentioned, trying to find something to string together, get some consistency, something sustained, maybe calm their whole team down and find a way to get back in this one.
Yeah, because right now you're down big, you're being shut out. Let's see if this is the drive that kind of kickstarts them. On second down, McFadden. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 27 yards there, a first down. Boy, the offensive line there, that was a thing of beauty to watch them block.
I love how you give a little appreciation for those big guys up front, and well-deserved. But how about the execution behind them? You can see the hours of practice that have gone into it. Great pocket by the running back. Quarterback puts it right in the perfect spot. Great mesh point by them. The timing on point. The run even better.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
36. Topper. Let's go.
Now a run with McFadden. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12.
Ready.
Running again, and again it's McFadden. And he's got this pretty close to a first down as the tackle is made at the Packers' 26.
You've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. They'll run it. Here's McFadden. And he gets the first down here as he's taken down at the 24. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs. That right there, a good sign for a team that's had trouble converting third down so far this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the NFL, but they come through there.
Yeah, and I bet if we put our guy Marvin on the case and say, Marvin, tell us where they rank on third and what, right? I bet they're in the top 5 in the league on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or more, because that's how you end up not converting. Just too much yardage to pick up on third down.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And he's going to lose a yard or two. Taken down behind the line. Rashawn Gary in there to drop him for a loss on the play. Here comes the 8th play of the drive, and they need a full 10 yards on third down.
Hey, Charlie. Let's go, team.
Looking to throw. And he's going to go down again. Rashawn Gary able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long, why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking. But to me, it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and that leads to a play action sack. And this is good. He got just enough to clear the crossbar as he drops it in from long distance. And the deficit drops now from 21 down to 18. So a good drive there to begin quarter number 3, but they're only able to shave 3 points off the lead.
Well, something's better than nothing, all right? They didn't play particularly well in the first half, but they definitely need him to step on the accelerator now and play a whole lot better.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Your 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time,
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Sam Hubbard, he's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long. Throwing is Rodgers. A 50-50 ball here, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 26, and they will take over at the 26-yard line. They needed a break. They needed to make a play here in the 3rd quarter defensively. They did that. Now they got to go quickly and get some points on the board.
And the best part is that they made their own break. Taking the ball away. Now they just look at their offense and saying, guys, let's go. Come on, capitalize on this one.
They throw right away, and that's complete out on the right side. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? A free 5 yards as the defense jumps.
I know it's an anticipation game for them, but it's also a reaction game, and they reacted poorly on that one.
Now McFadden, and for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's the Vikings in possession of the football, but they need some points. They're trailing here to start the 4th.
Let's go. Mike's 4-2. Mike's 4-2. Check right. Check right.
They'll go to the air here on 3rd and 2. And they almost had another one. They are all over the football in this game. Nearly another pick. Now 4th down. Just nothing there again. He's been sacked multiple times. We've seen the interceptions, of course. He's really been through the ringer, hasn't he?
And what we've seen is a defense that's well coordinated. The front and the back really in sync. The front putting on the pressure, the backside being ball hawks and picking passes off.
They're already slim hopes are going to ride on this one. They'll go on 4th down. They'll run for it. McFadden. And boy, is he close. Did he get there? No, they're going to say he's short of the line to gain. Anthony Lynn went for it but did not get it. And the Packers D comes up with a big stop. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Been a very strong performance for them, really, on both sides of the football. The turnover on downs the most recent example, and now, obviously, they're in a great spot here.
Yeah, if you're over on the bench right now, you're shaking hands with your teammate, you're hugging him, give him a little dap. Been a big, big performance for them. Now you just don't get careless. Take care of the ball on the way out.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Rodgers with a give. It's Aaron Jones. And 3 yards there takes him to the 45.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
From the 45 on 2nd down, Rodgers. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
But has not been the best game for him, but he definitely tried to get by with a little help from his friend there, trying to create a big play.
Couldn't do it, fell incomplete, but you're right, hasn't been a banner game here in the second half, just trying to get going.
Big thing is trying to keep confidence up and continue to fire.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down, and he can't hang on to it. Nearly picked. He's known for his hands defensively, but instead it just brings up 4th down. Here's Sam Martin now as he's on to punt for Green Bay. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And last time they were very fortunate, this offense. They went for it on 4th, turned it over in their own territory. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. From the corner, it was Kendall Fuller with a sack. Well, they're in some hot water now after that sack. It's 2nd and 21. And now here is another interception. Picked off at the 38, and they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line. What a nightmarish game he's having now. 6 interceptions that he has thrown.
Absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Hard to believe we're watching this and have seen it, but it just tells you about the game of football. It give it, and it taketh away.
Yeah, the guys, though, that have thrown 6 interceptions in a game, the likes of Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, I think Joe Namath, he did it 3 times. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Watch the run. Watch the run. 630. Baby, that's a baby shot. 57's the mic. 57's the mic. Let him know. Let him know. Let him know. Let him know.
Throwing on 2nd down. Rodgers toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete.
And now offensively it's 3rd and 10, and I'm just thinking to myself, actors always say, what's my motivation before a big scene? Right now the play caller's thinking, what have I done before that's worked well that I can go to right now?
Yeah, because they were pretty successful in the first half scoring points. Haven't done anything so far here in the second half. To throw is Rodgers. Over the middle, complete. It's Hodges. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. A pickup of 24 on the 3rd down conversion.
Get in the weight room.
Here's Rodgers to throw. Got an open man. It's Valdez-Scantling. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion.
People worry about throwing the out route because often it can get jumped, and that can turn into either an incompletion or an interception. But not on that one. Everything came together, and he catches it and goes over the sideline.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable sec. Got a man open. It's Adams. Touchdown, Green Bay. Davante Adams, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Packers are able to stretch that lead out further. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
Extra point right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. And he stopped immediately there. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They face a 3rd down now as they try to find a late score. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And this is incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Packers are going to get the football back in excellent field position.
Let's go, get it done. Let's go, let's go. No. 319. Check 55 to Mike. Hey, watch the lane.
Rodgers looking to throw. Looking for the end zone. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down. So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. Here's Rodgers throwing again. That is caught right at the 10-yard line. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9.
I know I spent a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
Here's Rodgers. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The defensive end, Danielle Hunter, drops him. First down, a bit of a disaster, and now on 2nd and goal, back even further. Now, meanwhile, here's a second down throw that's knocked away and incomplete. Strong safety Landon Collins, the one who got a hand in there, knocked it away. An extra defensive back on the field here for 3rd and goal. Now it's Rodgers. And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. Zadarius Smith in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that will lead to 4th down. And they won't run a play here, no victory formation. They will indeed try to get 3 more. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 22 ticks to go in the 4th. And, well, they could just run this clock out, but here is the field goal unit on 4th down. From the right hash, this from an even 40 yards out. And his kick here is good. And their lead will swell up to 28. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
2nd and 9 now. Now a desperation throw deep down. And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Darnell Savage. Breaks through the contact. So they elect to decline it.
And why not? Just go ahead and let the play stand, and they'll take that.
A terrible spot for a holding call as they'll try again, but now from further back on 1st and goal. Rodgers throwing here to the goal line, but it's incomplete. So it's all over. A Green Bay victory, and it was their defense that led the way, allowing just 3 points, that lone field goal in the entire second half.
And remember the old adage, offense sells tickets. Defense does what?
Wins championships.
And in this game, maybe a championship wasn't won, but a game was by the defense, right? Held them to just a field goal. That's a heck of a job. I mean, when they went out there with that determination and a pretty good game plan, pretty good idea of what they wanted to accomplish, just love the execution, love the tenacity, love the way they finished.
So for Green Bay, they remain one of the hottest teams out there as the win moves them to 6-1. And they'll have another road date next week with the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they fall a game under the 500 mark at 3-4 through 7 games. And they'll try to turn things around next week as they have a matchup in New Orleans against the Saints. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the